I'm actually gonna go heat up my coffee before we get started. So Tuesday night, I got out of the bath with Lachlan. I got us ready. We packed a little bag. We get to the hospital. It's like 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. The first waiting room, where it's like for the adults, is so crowded. There's nowhere to sit. We are holding the kids in our arms with all of our stuff. Lachlan was just sleeping. Allison was just not happy. We had to wait probably, I'd say like 45 minutes to an hour. This hospital particularly has a chalk section, and so they were just waiting. We were just waiting in the adult area till we were ready to go to the kids pediatric waiting room for ER. And so we get in, we do, they do like their vitals. They both got chest x-rays. And when we were waiting, we probably waited a total about 2 hours. They also did a nose swab for the flu and RSV, which that came back negative for both. My lighting is getting really bright again. And then, so the doctor comes in and he's like, he has pneumonia. And we're like, wait, what? Like, Lachlan has pneumonia? And his delivery was like on point. Like, he was, honestly, he was like a fun doctor. He was really nice. So he comes in about 10 minutes later and he goes, and she has pneumonia. And we were like, wait, what? Now they both have pneumonia? We thought it was like the cold or the flu. And then now their x-rays showed they both have pneumonia. So we had to do blood work, which Lachlan has never had blood work before. Allison has had it done twice. And so what we did was we had Lilith take Allison out of the room, take her for a little walk. And then we had, like, Lachlan was just basically sleeping. We burritoed him. I laid with him. I talked with him. We did his blood work. He did really well. He didn't like it and he was like crying half asleep, but he did really well. I was really proud of him. And then afterwards, Allison came in. We switched. Lilith took Lachlan. Allison did not like it, but she was very brave, and she it hurt and she wanted it over with, but she got her blood work done. And the thing is, when they did the blood work, they also put in IVs at the same time, so it's a little more painful. And then they also had these huge things on their hand after, because they have like a cushion and then tape and then a wrap and everything. So so they put in IVs as like a just in case, so they don't have to poke them twice, which we appreciated because they ended up needing the IVs. We were watching like The Incredibles 2 movie, and the kids were both sleeping, and we were just waiting. Came in and they said that they will both be admitted, and that Lachlan's white blood cell count was 15,300 and Allison's was about 23,000, when normal range is 10,000. So we got that shocker. When we were waiting at that point, we were waiting in the ER for them to get a room ready for us. We weren't sure if they were going to put us together. We really wanted them to, because they had already started IV antibiotics. So they had their IVs in and they just set up with the IV antibiotics, and they did that while we waited for our room. Once the antibiotics were done and our room was ready, they okay baby, they wheeled us upstairs, answering all these questions, getting paperwork signed and filled out. And then it was a little after 1 when we started to settle. But I noticed, so when I was answering questions and stuff, I had Lachlan with me and Allison's in the bed next to me, and they immediately they hooked her up to oxygen. I didn't know that they were going to. They just did it. And so she had like the oxygen tube for a little while, and it was hard to see. It was really hard to see. Her blood oxygen level was considered normal, like within a normal range, but because she was struggling so hard to breathe, that's why they put her on oxygen. She was retracting so much. Her heart rate was so high that they put her on oxygen to just assist her so her body can kind of rest a little bit and not have to work so hard. On Wednesday, we were told we were likely looking at going home on Friday at the earliest. We did repeat blood work just to see, because we want to see that their white blood count, and I don't know what it was called, but it's another marker, and we needed those to be decreasing. So in order for us to go home, that needs to be decreasing, no oxygen for 24 hours, and no fevers for 24 hours. Allison had gone without oxygen all day. Lachlan was no longer having fevers. Allison didn't have any. But the only thing is they weren't eating and drinking, and they didn't want to move. So we got both of the kids out of bed Wednesday afternoon, and it really lifted their spirits. Allison started, she perked up, and she really wanted to go home, and we told her, baby, if you want to go home, you need to start eating and drinking. You gotta stay hydrated so we can go home. And once she heard that, she was great. She was drinking nonstop, she perked up, she was determined to go home. On Wednesday, Lachlan also ended up getting an ultrasound of his lungs, because in his x-ray, his left lung was really bad, and the ultrasound was to see how bad the fluid was. And we found out Wednesday night that his body's is working on reabsorbing all that fluid, which was great news. He wasn't gonna need surgery or anything like that, because I guess that was a worry. They never even told us that. So when we found out he wasn't gonna need it, we're like, okay, that's great. We didn't even know that was a possibility, but perfect. So his lungs were already doing a little bit better. So it's like his lungs were worse in the x-ray than hers, but she was working harder to breathe than he was, and her blood work was worse than him. Thursday morning, they both woke up really miserable. They were both still working hard to breathe. They had some retraction, but it was at the point where it was okay. It wasn't concerning. They didn't need oxygen. It's just their heart rate's a little higher, and their body has to work a little bit harder to get to breathe. It was probably around 11 o'clock when we were told there was a possibility of us going home on Thursday. Honestly, I was kind of worried. I didn't think Lachlan was ready. Allison seemed ready, but I was really worried about Lachlan. But so they were able to be discharged together. They unhooked their IVs, they got some freedom, they were snacking a little bit, and we got to be discharged. We left, we went and picked up some food, and then we went home. But then Lachlan started not doing well. When we got home, he felt hot, so I took his temperature. He was 101.4. When previously at the hospital, he had not had a fever for over 24 hours, but within 2 hours of being discharged, his fever went to 101.4. He was grunting a lot, his breathing wasn't doing well, and we started to get scared. We're like, oh my God, did we get discharged too soon? Is he okay? Does he need to go back to the hospital? You know what? Let's just see how he does tonight. And worst case scenario, I'll call in the morning and we'll try to get an earlier doctor's appointment for a follow-up for him. Normal bread, it's a squishy bread.
Yeah, I know.
How you feeling today? She is so happy. I had a little clip from yesterday that I put on Instagram. She was so happy to be home. She was just pure smiles and joy. And yeah, it's really bright today. There you go. She was just pure smiles and joy. She was so happy to be home. And it was just really great to see her that happy. Yeah, our house is too bright. I never thought I would say that. Where'd my coffee go? I want to try to get Lachlan out of bed because he's still in bed. He has not left at all, but he's eating and drinking a little bit, and I got him to take his medicine, so that's good. Taking a cuddle break. He's not feeling too good. She's here too.
Mom.
I just wanted to say, I was thinking about it, and today is May 31st, right? Right? Yeah, so today's May 31st, and it's the last day of the month, and it's been a crazy month. May 1st is my birthday, and then it was my dad's birthday. We went to Disneyland May 6th. It was Mother's Day on the 12th. The kids' great grandma came down to see them from Hawaii, and then my sister came for a couple of weeks, and then we also had someone else visiting. And then to go from all of that to like pneumonia and then being hospitalized, like it has been the craziest 31 days. And let me tell you, we went from like literally Disneyland to hospital stay.